Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we're going to read some amazing channelings from the creators. This comes from a book called Channeled Wisdom from Higher Dimensional Beings. This is channeled by Daniel Scranton, an amazing channeler. You probably recognize Daniel's channelings from the Arcturian Council, which I've read previously, and also the Founders. Daniel is an amazing channel that has a unique style of channeling, and the messages that come through are profound and resonate deeply with me, and I've really enjoyed reading them. Initially, when Daniel started channeling, it appears he channeled the creators exclusively, and they come from the 12th dimension. We often refer to the Arcturians as 9th dimensional, and the creators are 12th dimensional. Not sure what that means, but let's enjoy their wonderful teachings. This covers everything from the illusion of time, interacting with others on the planet, you are perfect just as you are, enjoying the now moment, seeing the beauty in every experience, the gift and surrender. Just be with what is. You are source energy, you are a being of divine love and light, and many more. The illusion of time. The creators. Letting go of the illusion of time can be one of your biggest challenges in this life. You are constantly being reminded of what time it is. You have clocks on your phones, on your computers, in your cars, even on your wrists. There are so many reminders that are there to let you know just what time it is. And many of you give so much of your power away to the clocks and to the calendars and to the days of the week. Think about how you feel about the day Saturday, the day Sunday, the day Monday, and so on. You've all but decided what those days are all about for you, and therefore you slip right into a certain frequency when you even think about particular days of the week. The clock also has an effect upon you. Certain things are more appropriate given the time of day by your standards. There are times for this and times for that. Even what you eat is in large part dictated by the clocks. So we want to free you from this illusion of time and let you know that all you ever have is now. The only time that ever matters is now. And what we want to place your attention is now. When you shift your focus to how much time you have left before such and such happens, or when you must be somewhere, you put yourselves into a sort of constricted and contracted state of being. We want you to give yourselves a break from the enslavement of the clocks. We want you to ask yourselves more frequently, what is it that I feel like right now? What is it that I feel like doing right now? Where is it that I feel like going right now? What is it I feel like eating right now? Do I feel like sleeping right now? We even want you to let go of the idea you must sleep at night for 8 hours. All this keeps you in a compartmentalized, pigeonholed state of being and states of creating that you have found yourselves in for eons and eons of what you call time. We want you to awaken to the now moment and the power that you have over what you think of as the ticking clock. We even want you to let go of the concepts that you associate with certain ages. And when you let go of this idea that such and such is an appropriate thing for me to do at this time on this day, and given my age, you will find that you can bend time. You can travel in time. You can completely let go of any sort of enslavement you have previously brought into regarding time. Now, when you set this intention for yourselves, please keep the rest of the collective in mind as well, for you want everyone else to release their attachment and enslavement to the clocks. You want everyone to be on the same page and the same frequency with you, because you still want to connect with others. So there will be occasions where you will want to meet up with a friend at a particular time. We want you to make that meeting a vibrational one first, so that you are not so attached to getting there at a particular time. And instead, you're both seeking to arrive at the same frequency, and when you do this, you cannot miss a single appointment. Interacting with others on the planet. The ones who are in your life at this time have a unique relationship to you, because you're in the midst of a shift in consciousness. Everyone who you have chosen to surround yourselves with at this time is someone with whom you have many past incarnational experiences. You've been related to these people in many different ways, and you've done many different things together. You would not be doing this with mere acquaintances. So no matter what the connection is in this incarnation, we can assure you that it has been that you and the others were operating in as many different ways as you can imagine. So look around yourself and ask yourself what type of connection you feel with the others who are in your lives. You may have certain types of relationship in this lifetime at this time, but the feeling that you may have when you are with this person or when you consider this person may be quite different from the relationship that you have now would suggest. So allow yourselves to explore those connections, and more importantly, to access those feelings that you take on and that you access when you are with these other beings and when you are thinking about them. Many times what you are feeling in the now moment has many different layers and much depth to it that the current moment would not be able to account for. So open yourselves up to more information regarding the connections that you have with the beings who are currently your co-workers, friends, neighbors, relatives, lovers, bosses, and so on. Because in those connections, you will find that you need to, in order for you to really access that which is still there within your energetic field, waiting to bubble to the surface, waiting to be cleared, waiting to be sent home to the light, to your oversouls. We witness you in so many of your interactions with others in a state of bewilderment and confusion because what you experience does not make any sense to your logical minds. So really use these connections as opportunities to open your hearts up to more than what you can perceive, more than what you can understand. And when you do this, everything that you feel will lead you to something that you need, something that will benefit you, and something that will help the current relationship that you are in. Do this one being at a time and give yourselves much more than you are currently accessing. This process can be fun, it can be interesting, and it very well must lead you to a greater understanding of yourselves and your connection with others. You are perfect just as you are, the creators. From where you are now, there is very little that you could do to mess this up. You have made it so far along this journey that it is really up to you how you want to proceed. But you have all made it through the most difficult part of the journey, and you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a very important thing for you all to acknowledge for yourselves and to yourselves. This nearing that you are to the complete vibrational shift in consciousness is something that you must be able to sense within you, because we cannot give you a date, and because there are no news reports telling you what the countdown to 5D is. So this is something that you must be able to reach for within yourselves and feel the vibrational truth of it. It would be to your benefit to let go of all your notions about what it is that is required of you to be a fifth dimensional being, what it is you must achieve, or how you must be holding your vibration at all times. You would be better served by acknowledging yourselves and by focusing on all the achievements that you've made so far. Think about the person that you are now, as opposed to 5, 10, or 20 years ago. And allow yourselves to get excited about the shift, because we want you to understand that this is not something that you all must earn. It is a part of the journey that you're on. It always has been. You are aligned with this shift. That is why you're making it. It is not because you are good and others are bad, or that you are enlightened and they are asleep. It is because there is a part of the overall journey of your consciousness. And for you to be right where you are required you to step through some pretty unsavory corridors. You had to be willing to look at aspects of yourself, aspects of the world that you live in, that are not so easy for you to swallow or to accept or love unconditionally. So in order for you to be here, you have volunteered to take on some of these programs, some of those beliefs, and some of those experiences that you have now found yourselves on the other end of, and recognizing the illusion of all of them. Instead, you're able to see that this version of you right now is equipped with everything that you need. You know that you are complete just as you are. You know there is no end to your consciousness and to your knowing of yourselves as individuals. You know there is no right and no wrong, and that all of this is just a game that you decided to play. We also want to encourage you to remember you are still creating every little bit of this experience, and you can have whatever experience of the shift that you desire to have. So you can have a very fun and playful journey down the next portion of your path, or you can struggle and claw and resist every inch along the way. So we are granting you permission now to let go of all the seriousness that you have brought into about this process, and to grant yourselves the freedom to have whatever experience of the rest of the ride that you want to have. Enjoy the now moment. The creators. Start with the knowledge that you've already done everything that you could possibly do up until this point in your lives to give yourselves the experience that you wanted to have. You are not lazy. You are not missing something that you need in order to manifest that which you want to experience. You're all doing the best that you can. And that is something that most of you do not necessarily buy into when it comes to your manifestation and creation processes. Some of you think there is more action that could have been taken to get you to where you ultimately want to go. And some of you that there is more energy that you could have put out in the form of thoughts or emotions or vibrations or frequencies, but none of that really matters anyway, because you wanted to find yourselves exactly in the positions where you are today. So no mistakes have ever been made by you. You were always on this path that you're on. Now you can choose to be happy about where you are and to shine your light as bright as you possibly can. Or you can choose to be despondent and down and to isolate yourselves because you feel so much shame about some aspect of what you are living or how you're living. That choice is yours right now, and we want to encourage you to let go of all your plans and goals that you had for yourselves and to give yourselves the freedom to enjoy this moment as it is, because there is no other moment that is exactly like this one. It is unique and special and was created just for you to experience. So you might as well benefit from all of that. It is still possible, of course, for you to manifest all that you seek to experience. There is nothing that is out of reach for you. There are no opportunities that have been missed or lost. Everything is still on the table as far as your life is concerned, because you are always in the driver's seat. You're always the one who gets to decide what it is you want to experience next. And whether or not you get to experience that exact idea that you had, you are still the one who is deciding what it is that you want and how it is you're going to experience what already is. So even if you cannot see evidence of that which you are seeking and that which you have sought, that does not mean it does not exist in this reality. You are everything, and everything is in you. So you could not possibly be separate from anyone or anything or any experience. But you can give yourself the experience that you are separate, or that you have missed out, or that something is missing from your lives. So that is what you are creating when you lament all of the things you never did or haven't done, all the things you never had, people that you never met in your lives. And we want to open up the knowledge that you have everything that you need right now. It all exists within you, and the sooner you look for it there, the sooner you will see it outside of yourselves. Please do not misunderstand us. We are telling you that you are creator beings, and that you are right now and right here able to create the experience of your lives that you seek as soon as you let yourselves off the hook for what you did or did not do to be right where you are. See the beauty in every experience, the creators. Something is stopping you from living the lives that you want to live. We know that you're not completely satisfied with your lives as they are, and we want you to know that we are on top of all those desires that you hold. So we can see that you are reaching out for more than you're currently experiencing. We also know that you feel that there is something that is blocking you from living that life that you desire to live. And we also want to assure you that whatever the obstacle is that is between you and your desired life experience, you have placed the obstacle there because you wanted to have a certain experience. You did not want to incarnate and then find yourselves at the finish line, so that all you had to do was lean slightly forward and you would be at your final destination. That is not what you wanted. So of course you put a racetrack or a route or a trail between yourselves and the finish line. And you did so with crafty precision. So you are not only the creators of your paths, but you're also the creators of the obstacles you find along the way. As long as you're convinced that someone else or something else outside of you has created your obstacles and has placed them very strategically in between you and the lives you want to live, then you could not possibly gain what you wanted to gain from the experience of those obstacles. So step 1 is to recognize that you are the creators of the obstacles that you see or that you perceive that are in front of you. The next step would be to appreciate what a fine job you did of creating that obstacle and of placing it there where you did in the exact timing that you did. And the next step would be to look for the gifts that the obstacle is there to give you. And sometimes you may not be able to see the gifts if you're looking at the obstacle itself. Sometimes you may have to look around at where you are to see what the gifts are there. And as you make it your primary objective to look for gifts where you are, rather than to just chisel away at the obstacle so that you can get all the good stuff that you placed at the other side of it, you will benefit greatly. You will have so much more fun. You will recognize there's so much more to your life than simply getting to where you want to go. And you will see all that is within your blind spots at this time, because you will take your sights off the obstacles and the desires, and when you do so, you will see so much more there is to delight you and to let you know how powerful and wonderful and enlightened you are. So make peace with the obstacles, love the obstacles, cherish the moment where you are right now, and notice that without the obstacles, you would not be in the moment you are. This is meant to get you into the appreciation of the moment where you are right now. And so it is your best possible next step to simply relax, let go, lean up against the obstacle, and check every nook and cranny for the gifts that lie all around it. The gift in surrender. The creators. Sometimes you have to just give in. When you find yourselves in situations where there is no more fighting that can be done, there is nothing more that struggle can accomplish, you are left with no choice but to surrender, to give in. We want you to realize this is not you giving up on anything. Giving in is surrendering to the flow of your life. And that is so much more of a productive endeavor than to continue to resist something that keeps showing up and showing up. Because when you're in the state of surrender to the flow, you have all the power of the current at your side, and you can begin to use some of the power to modify your existence and your circumstances to fit that which you do desire. Remember that there is nothing here that is outside of you. So anything that you're in resistance to, you're actually pushing against something that is within you, something that is you. And that sort of strategy for life will only get you into more situations where you find that there is something that you need to push against, that you need to resist. And we know that you don't really want to be in that place. So what surrender does for you is gives you back that part of yourself that you've been struggling so hard to avoid or to smother or to deny the existence of. All that does is make you a smaller and weaker person. You are then buying into the idea of separation, the idea that you're not whole just as you are, and that this universe is somehow working against you. Nothing could be further from the truth. So when you do know that it is time to give up the struggle and give in to the flow, well, you can tell you have no other option but to do so. That is one way of knowing. You can tell by what it is that you are feeling in the moment. If the feeling of surrender brings you relief, then that is definitely the way to go in the moment. We are not asking you to be doormats or to give up all of your desires or sense of individuality. But what we are saying to you is that there is a setting a boundary and then there is fighting against. And you need to be able to discern the difference between those two, because you will find yourselves in situations where you would benefit from saying no to someone, for instance. And when you can see it that way, when you can see it as something that is created by you to give yourself that feeling of alignment with your own path in life, when you can see it as something that is for your highest good, that is when you know it is appropriate for you to say no. But when you can see it as something that you are only fighting against, and when it feels like it is so much bigger than you, and that you would never even consider creating something or some scenario, that is when you know that you are in resistance, that you are shutting yourself off in some way. And that is when it is time to let go. We always give in because we understand that there is only one of us here. And when you get to that place, you will know it. You will know the difference between letting yourselves be used and abused and putting up a very appropriate boundary. A new perspective. the creators. Bringing a new perspective to something will change everything about it and about your experience of it. We want you to let go of all of your preconceived notions, of all the beliefs that you hold that are based upon prior experiences. And we want to give yourselves a chance to reconsider something that you had written off or had believed was somehow inappropriate or not right for you. It is as simple as allowing yourselves to tilt your head slightly and see what it is you're considering from a new angle. We mean that quite literally. If you were to be an observation of something and you were only to see one side of it, you would not have the full picture. You would only be able to take in that which was before you, the information that had presented itself to you as a result of the angle at which you were viewing it. But if you were to look at it from a different angle or look at it a different side, you would see something completely different. You have the ability to do this with concepts, with individuals, with yourselves as well. You may have bought into one angle as the most important one for quite some time. You may have been told that this is a side that is only worth seeing, and that is the only way in which something's value can be determined. But give yourselves a chance here to explore another perspective, another angle, another way of experiencing something that you have experienced before and are quite certain is only going to give you that one note. Begin with yourselves. You take yourselves with you almost everywhere you go. You have a perspective of yourself. You may say to another individual, I am someone who always does this, or I am someone who never gets the lucky draw. I am someone who always forgets numbers or addresses or faces or names. Whatever it is you are believing about yourself is simply one perspective. Perhaps you are an individual who has forgotten people's names, and you are certain that this is a flaw. This is something that is a trait of yours that is completely unchangeable. Well, let us suppose that what you take in when you meet someone is not their name. What you take in is their vibration. You are feeling them and reading their energy without even knowing that this is what you're doing. So you are only aware of the fact that you forget their names 5 seconds after you meet them. But from another perspective, you take in everything that you need to know about that person, your relationship to them, whether or not you want to spend more time with them, whether or not you trust them, and so on. You take that in because that is the most important and pertinent information for you. Names are somewhat irrelevant. So you can see now how you could apply that type of perspective shifting to anything that you are involved with, to anyone that you are in relationship with, to any idea, any institution, any group of individuals. It is possible for you to have a brand new understanding, a brand new experience, if you give yourselves the opportunity to tilt your head slightly. Be the frequency of what you desire, the creators. Frequencies are the currency of your lives. You are offering frequencies, you are exchanging frequencies, you are surrounded by frequencies. There is no denying it. They are in fact measurable. They carry more weight and more significance than any of you know. You're able to make a frequency adjustment and to alter the reality that you experience, as well as altering yourself within the reality that you're experiencing. Your frequency is a barometer that tells you how likely it is that something is going to happen. You can play around with your frequencies without knowing how to do it. In fact, you do this all the time without realizing it. You bump into frequencies all the time without realizing it. You take on the frequencies of others without realizing it. But that time is over now. Now is the time that you are waking up to the frequencies that you hold, the frequencies that others hold, the frequencies that objects, rooms, entire cities hold. And when you do this, you recognize that there is so much more power in frequency than in anything that takes physical form. There is so much to be discovered and to be explored within the realm of frequency. It is not just a tool that you use to get what you want or a way of describing how it is you feel. It is a wave of energy that contains within it the secrets of the universe, the secrets of your personality, your consciousness, your oversoul. You can continue to live within the realm of frequency and have a casual relationship with it. You can check in every once in a while to see what frequency you're vibrating at. Or you can paint the reality that you experience with all the colors of the frequencies you wish to experience. You can dive right into a frequency and feel the infinite power and size and scope of that frequency. We ask for nothing more than that you feel the frequencies around you, that you take note of them, that you begin to define and describe the frequencies that you experience, because they are describing and defining and feeling out your essence. So you might as well return the favor. Play with them as you would play with new toys on Christmas morning. Just be with what is, the creators. When you are in the midst of something that you would rather not experience, but that you have no choice, given the fact that it is right there in front of you, the best course of action for you is to let yourselves be completely with that situation. We want you to discover that there is nothing that exists in this universe that you cannot handle. We want you to realize that. And when you are faced with something that you do not like, that does not please you, that you would never have consciously created for yourself, what you have before you is an aspect of yourselves that you've been unwilling to look at. It may not seem that way to you, but it is what it is. So when you're in a situation that you do not prefer, and you are looking for ways out of it, just stop, take a breath, and remember that this creation of yours is in service to you in some way. Certainly you can all relate to the idea of growing pains. You know that sometimes in order for you to expand, you must be able to include something that is a little uncomfortable for you at the time. But when you're able to look back at these types of sticky situations, you can usually understand why you need to create them, how you benefited from them, how you are so much more equipped to deal with anything that comes your way as a result of those experiences. So you wish to know yourselves as powerful beings, as source energy beings, as beings of love and light. And the best way for you to do that is to know that everything in your reality is an aspect of yourself, a creation of yours, and is there to benefit you. When you have the understanding of that, knowing, then everything that you face, every challenge, every ordeal will be something that you walk away from shiny and new, knowing yourself better than you ever have before, and with understanding that whatever it is that comes into your life is there to give you that experience of your power, and is not there for you to simply brush aside or transcend or make the most of a bad situation. There are no bad situations. There are situations, and you may have a response to those situations, but that does not make them inherently good or bad. You are everything. Everything is within you. The sooner you acknowledge that and you love everything in your universe as your world, your newborn child, you'll be one who walks on air, who gives without question of whether or not they will receive, and you will exemplify that which is in the essence of unconditional love, unconditional joy, unconditional beingness. We applaud you for your willingness to take on that which may seem overwhelming and may seem scary, but that which is an aspect of all that is and is therefore comprised of love. You are source energy, the creators. By now you understand the true nature of your being. You are aware and you are awake. And in some ways, there's nothing left to do. There's nothing that you must achieve. There's no series of steps that you must perform. We want you to give yourselves credit for having woken up in this day and age in the type of society that you live in. This information is not taught in your schools. It is not broadcast on your televisions. You are pioneers in this day and age. To know yourselves as source energy is a pretty big accomplishment, and you deserve to celebrate yourselves for having made that realization in this lifetime. And so what else is there for you to do now that you have this information? Well, for one, you can begin to enjoy yourselves. You can let go of all your attachments. You can sit quietly and listen. You can enjoy a sunset. You can stare at a puffy cloud. You can breathe the air. You can dance, and you can sing. And you can forget anything and everything that may look like a trouble, a problem, or something that you need to worry about. Because as source energy beings, you recognize that everything is, that is all. You are everything and everything is. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is. So have the experience of your life that you choose to have. Know that you don't need to hasten your expansion or your ascension or your evolution. These things are automatic. It is built to your structure. You don't need to worry about being left behind in this process. In fact, you are the leaders of it. So the best thing that you can do now, that you know yourselves as source, is to live like you know yourselves as source. It is that easy. Be aware, be awake, be one with your environment, and everything else will truly take care of itself. We want you to relax, enjoy, be at peace, and love like you have no shortage at all of that frequency. It's interesting, as I read these channelings, you can trace the way that these channelings evolve as Daniel has channeled them. If you read the newer creator channelings, they're a little more complex. I think that it's a result of him becoming just a better channeler. This is one of his earlier books, Channeled Wisdom from Higher Dimensional Beings, Volume 2. And there are some interesting little tidbits that we can get from here. The creators are emphasizing that time is an illusion and wanting us to move outside of the constraints that time places upon us. They're also particularly pointing out the way that we connect with people, and the people in your life most likely are people that we have reincarnated with, that have affected us, and these are important aspects of our awakening. They repeatedly emphasize that we are perfect just as we are, that there's nothing that we actually have to do, that everything comes into the moment now, not in the past or the future, that it's a now moment. And the message is really to surrender into this moment, that there's nothing that we have to do. It's just to be. And they emphasize frequency. We're actually experiencing frequencies, tasting frequencies, learning about frequencies, moving into frequencies. That's the key word that is emphasized here. So they want us to come to a realization as source energy beings, understanding this frequency in the moment. Only they can explain it in such a way. And I think it's sort of an activation, a reminder, no matter what you're going through in this moment, no matter how hard it is, that this is okay, that you created this, that it's all a part of the master plan, that you can enter into the frequency of what it is that you want, that you're creating your reality. You are a source energy being. I'm going to read some of the creator channelings that are more recent, and you might find those to be interesting as well. I'll do that in future episodes, as I really enjoy all the channelings that Daniel has. And I will also try to read some of his channelings from his new book, which is from the Archangel Michael. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.